Hello and welcome to The Drug Trip. This channel is here to feed the curiosity of those who would like to gain an insight to the effects of various drugs and substances through user experiences and stories, with our main goal being to entertain and reduce harm and abuse. We post regular trip reports every few days, so if you do enjoy these, we would really appreciate it if you subscribed. And more importantly, we love to hear our viewers' thoughts, opinions and experiences, so please leave something for us in the comment section and we may use it in a future video. Enjoy and be safe. Let me preface by saying I've been doing heroin for around 2 years now. I've smoked it and injected it intravenously, but I highly prefer smoking, mainly because it's far easier to acquire some tinfoil as opposed to a rig, and that is high is far easier to control. However, in this experience, I will be sharing my close call with death and what has been highlighted as one of the scariest nights of my life. I can't remember each and every detail to a fine point, but I will do my best to recall exactly what happened. It was dusk when a buddy of mine and his love interest at the time picked me up from a street corner. This was approximately 3 blocks from my house. I couldn't risk my dad seeing that I was leaving. I had about $20 in my pocket, and so did my friend. Once we took off, we drove for what seemed to be an eternity to get to the Connect's meeting place. We waited for roughly 20 minutes, and when they finally showed up, we wasted a little bit of time preparing our shots. I noticed Jay was already preparing his rig, which looked to be a little more than usual, but I said nothing. To my everlasting surprise, he told me to come to the front seat and said that the shot was for me. Again, I obeyed blindly and didn't say anything except a soft, "Heh, that's a little more than I'm used to." He scoffed and told me to get ready. After finding the perfect vein on my forearm, he stuck the needle into my skin, pulled back the plunger, and began to slowly inject the thick brown liquid into my veins. At first, I got the same intense rush with little to no side effects. I was instantly more talkative, excited, and just wanted to stay trapped in this opiate-induced bliss for the rest of my life. I thought to myself, that wasn't so bad. Maybe I should be taking bigger shots from now on. I stepped out of the car and went into the back seat. This is the point in the story where everything turns to blackness. The next thing I can remember is being semi-conscious in the back seat, my head rolling in erratic sways and the audio of the outside world being muffled in a strange way. I knew we were driving because my friend was at the steering wheel, but I could tell something was wrong. I was so confused, so lost in a trance of what felt like heaven, but I couldn't bring myself to understand what he was saying. I was nearly in panic. Screaming at me, my friend was, trying to find a solution for what was happening. I couldn't even talk, I was that fucked up. Slowly, and I mean very, very slowly, I started to gain the ability to talk once more. I was slurring my words badly, asking vague questions like, what's going on? Still, I couldn't understand what my friends were saying, but I could see the terror and rage in my friend's eyes, continually glancing back at me, shouting inaudible words in my face. I was lost in a sea of intense confusion, but somehow I managed to stay awake through the entire process. It was at that point I knew something was wrong, but I wasn't entirely sure what it was, as I was confused. But a wave of panic swept over me. I tried smacking myself in the face to regain some kind of conscious thought, but it wasn't working. Still, I was slowly going back to this reality, and finally, after what seemed like an eternity, I could understand what they were saying. "Can you fucking hear me?" I nodded, and began to engage in a very distorted conversation. "What's happening?" My friend sighed a breath of relief. "You fucking passed out and you would not wake up." My other friend interjected. "He was literally hitting you in the face to wake you up. You were completely gone." I still couldn't really talk, but I managed to utter a very soft, "Holy shit," Now that I was awake, my other friend made it her duty to keep checking on me, making sure that I did not fall asleep, as that would surely mean death. They started to deliberate on what to do. They contemplated taking me to hospital, but due to the fact that I was starting to recover, it wouldn't make much sense. I felt the worst had ended and I was only getting better. We wound up in a parking lot, my two guardian angels watching my movements. I stepped outside to vomit. What came out was black phlegm mixed with the last thing I ate. If my memory serves me, it was a hamburger. It was all I could get out. I was starting to feel better. I could walk in the loosest sense of the word, but that was a success, all in its own right. I told them I didn't need to go to the hospital, we just had to get home. They agreed, and we hopped in the car, making our way across town. Regaining consciousness, I tried to piece together what had just happened. I was asking questions. While my friend was reluctant to talk, what I gathered from my other friend was that I had gone to lie down in the back seat, making no noise, and I passed out. My friend told me to calmly get my ass up, but after seeing that I wasn't responsive, they both began to panic. So I guess we drove around for quite some time before the idea of going to the hospital was even in their minds. Going to the hospital meant my parents would have to come and collect me and know that I did heroin again. I guess they knew this. I'm starting to come back to life. My motor skills are improving and the high is gone entirely. Fear is still in the back of my mind, but so is gratitude. I keep thanking both of my friends for watching over me as opposed to dropping me off somewhere to rot and, in all probability, die. As we near my house, we park a couple of blocks away and they tell me to walk down the street and come back to see how well I'm functioning. I do just fine, pass their makeshift sobriety test, and they give me permission to go home, assuring me that they're going to call me every 10 minutes to make sure I'm still breathing. True to their word, we frequently communicate with each other. I tell them everything is okay and give them some peace of mind. After around half an hour, I fall asleep into one of the most peaceful slumbers I've ever endured, and awake the next morning feeling elated and lucky. Heroin is not a fucking joke. People really do die from this drug in the same fashion that I was supposed to. I urge anyone who is going to IV for the first time to stay away from large shots. Even if your body weight is fairly high, you simply don't know how strong your shit is. It's not a matter of physical strength, it's a matter of how much your body is capable of withstanding. I haven't shot up since my overdose, and I don't plan to. Foolishness is the root of all overdoses, and if I ever do this drug again, I will stay to my conventional method of smoking, which produces a powerful high all in itself. Please use this stuff responsibly.